The hall was silent, cold. Tall walls of shining metal stood around the circular room. Lights blinked in the ceiling like small stars. Alien creatures from many worlds stood in a circle. Tall ones with eyes on their shoulders, small ones with smoke coming from their skin. All were waiting. In the center of the room, a girl stood alone. She looked ... perfect. Her skin was smooth like glass. Her eyes were large, bright, and filled with something no one else in the room understood: sadness. She was not normal. Her body was created, built in a lab, designed by the best alien scientists. No scars, no weakness, no feelings. And yet, today, she had one purpose. She took one small step forward and spoke. Her voice was calm, clear, loud enough for all to hear. My body is perfect. You can have me. For food. No one moved. Not a single alien took a step. Not one creature raised a hand or a claw. Silence. She waited. Her eyes scanned the crowd. Dozens of species. Hundreds of eyes. All powerful, all cruel. They had no hunger for her, not really. This was something else. A test. For them, it was a game. Suddenly someone spoke. A voice, human. Low, calm, but different. No. Everyone turned. In the far back of the room, near a dark metal wall, stood a figure. Thin, dirty clothes. Chains on his wrists. A human male. The aliens stared in confusion. Some growled. Others laughed. What was a human doing here? Humans were weak, small, useless, almost extinct. The girl looked at him. Her face didn't change, but her eyes blinked. Once slowly. Did you say no? She asked. The human took a breath. His voice did not shake. I said no. You don't deserve that. You are not food. The room filled with noise. Angry hissing, laughter. Some aliens moved toward him. One of the guards, a tall red beast with sharp horns, stepped forward and raised a weapon. You are a prisoner. You do not speak here. But the girl raised her hand. Let him talk. The guard froze. The others stopped moving. Her voice had power, maybe more than they expected. She walked slowly toward the human, step by step. Her eyes never left him. Why would you say no? She asked softly. They created me to be perfect. To be eaten. I have no soul. The human looked at her face, not with fear, but with something else. Pity, respect. You have eyes. You have a voice. You feel pain. That's enough. She paused. Something inside her moved. Something new. Something not built in a lab. Emotion. She took one step closer. No one has ever said that to me. The human nodded. Maybe they should have. Behind them, the guards moved again. The leader shouted, enough. Kill the human. The girl turned fast, too fast. Her hand rose, glowing blue. A shockwave hit the guards. They flew back like leaves in wind. Silence again. Everyone watched. The girl turned to the others. None of you answered. None of you saw me, only he did. More growls. The aliens didn't understand. Why was she protecting him? She walked to his side. Her hand touched his shoulder. What is your name, Rayan? She nodded. My name is Ira. I was not made to feel, but now ... I do. Alarms began to ring. Red lights flashed. The council had seen enough. Orders were clear. Terminate. The human. Reclaim the subject. Guards rushed in from all sides. Ira turned to Rayan. Can you run always? She smiled her first real smile. Then they ran. Asterisk. The ship was old. Broken lights flickered inside. Wires hung like vines. The engine made a slow, dying sound. But it was flying just barely through the dark sky of the alien city. Inside the ship, Ira sat near the control panel. Her hands moved fast, pressing buttons, scanning signals. Her skin still glowed a soft silver blue, but her eyes were different now, awake, alive. Rayan sat behind her, breathing hard. His clothes were torn. His arm had a fresh burn, but his face was calm, focused. She turned to him. Who are you really? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked out the window. The stars were far above. Alien buildings stretched below. Red sirens were lighting up the city. The hunt had begun. Then, finally, he spoke. My name is Rayan Vale. Last registered. Human born in the Orion slave zones. Last, she asked. I was 9 when they erased the records, burned the camps, took everyone away. Ira paused. Her voice softened. I thought humans were extinct. Rayan gave a small laugh. No joy in it. So did we. 15 years earlier, a small boy hid inside a metal crate. His hands were bloody. His breath was quiet. Outside, machines rolled past. Alien voices echoed in the air. Unit 47, human. Waste detected. Erase and report. The boy closed his eyes. He didn't move, didn't cry, just waited. The machines left. He lived. Now. EIRA watched him closely. How did you survive so long? I listened. I watched. I learned to be invisible. But you spoke in front of everyone. For me, Rayan looked at her, serious. Because for the first time, someone looked like they still had a heart. Ira blinked. No one had said that before. She wasn't supposed to have a heart or feelings. She was supposed to be a tool, a test, a thing. I wasn't made to feel, she said. Rayan nodded. Neither was I, not anymore. Suddenly, alarms rang louder. The ship shook. Something hit the back. Ira jumped to the controls. They're following us. Fast ships. Rayan grabbed a metal rod from the wall. Weapons. No weapons. This was a cleaning drone. We're lucky it even flies. Then we run smarter. He looked at the map. Alien writing blinked on the screen. He tapped a point in narrow black zone just outside the city. There. That's old mining tunnels. No scanners, no air traffic hide there. Ira looked surprised. You read Zenthic code. I listened. I watched. I survived. They flew low, chased by 4 alien cruisers, red lights behind them. Lasers fired, missed them by inches. The ship dived hard. Sparks flew inside. A pipe burst. Fire lit one wall. Hold on, Ira shouted. They entered the tunnels. Cold, twisting metal paths. The cruisers couldn't. Followed. Silence returned. Inside the ship, fire burned low. Smoke danced in the air. Rayan coughed. Ira sat beside him. You could have run alone. You didn't have to save me. Rayan shook his head. You were the only person in that room who looked at me like I was. Not an animal. Ira looked away. I was created to test them, to see if any species still had compassion. They all failed, except one, Rayan said. She smiled. Not the perfect smile designed in the lab, but a small, real one. Maybe you're not the last human, she said. Rayan looked at the stars through the cracked window. Or maybe I'm just the first one coming back. The tunnel was dead quiet. Old metal walls stretched for miles. No light, no movement, just darkness and echoes. Rayan sat with his back against the ship, breathing slowly. His wound had stopped bleeding, but his mind was not resting. He looked at Ira. She stood perfectly still, like a statue, eyes closed, hands by her side, not sleeping, not moving, just standing there like she had turned off. Ira, he said softly. No reply. He stood up, walked closer. Hey, are you okay? Her eyes opened, but they were glowing, not softly like before. Now they burned bright, white blue, sharp, cold, powerful. And for the first time, Rayan didn't see a girl. He saw something else. Inside her mind, a voice echoed, not hers. Subject 001A. Mission failed. Compassion trigger activated. Emotional systems unstable. Another voice, older, slower. She's changing. Let her evolve. The human spoke. This is the first contact in 7,000 trials. That human is dangerous. That human is the answer. Ira blinked. Her eyes dimmed. She looked around, confused, as if waking up from a deep sleep. I heard them, she whispered. Who? Rayan asked. The ones who made me. The ones watching. Rayan looked at her carefully. You weren't just made to be eaten, were you? She shook her head slowly. No, that was just the front. She sat down across from him. Her voice was low now, almost afraid. I was created in a lab orbiting Vos 3, a secret place. A test lab. I wasn't the first. How many? He asked. 7,012. What happened to the others? All destroyed. None passed the test. No one showed compassion. She looked directly into his eyes. You were the only one who said no. Silence filled the space between them. Then Ira touched her chest. A small panel opened in her skin, smooth like liquid. Inside, a strange orb pulsed with light. This is my core, she said. They call it a moral engine. It activates when someone sees me. Not as food, but as a person. Rayan's eyes narrowed. And what happens when it activates? Ira looked afraid. I don't know. No one ever activated it before. Suddenly, her body jerked. She cried out. Her back arched. Lights burst under her skin like lightning. Her voice turned glitchy. Warning, core awakening error. Rayan ran to her side. Ira, stay with me. She fell to her knees. Her hands shook. Her eyes rolled back, glowing wild. Then ... Silence. She collapsed. Rayan checked her pulse. There was one light, but there. Come on, Ira. Don't go out on me now. Then her fingers moved. She sat up. Slowly. Her breathing was different. Her eyes were focused, her voice clear. Rayan, I remember things. What things? Files, images, people, places I've never seen, plans, blueprints, names. She looked at him. They didn't just build me to test morality. They built me to find the one who could lead. Lead what? She stood straight, calm. Strong, a rebellion. In a dark control room, many light years away, alien leaders watched the footage. The girl has chosen. The human interferes with the program, then erased them both. It began with a whisper, not a sound, but a feeling. A cold warning inside her artificial heart. Ira opened her eyes. They've found us. Rayan was already up, holding a metal pipe like a sword. His instinct told him the same thing. Something was coming fast. Outside the tunnel, 6 black drones floated in silence. No lights, no sound, no mercy. These weren't scouts. They were erasure units sent only for one reason. Delete the subject. Erase the witness. Inside the tunnel, the old ship flickered. The screen showed motion outside. Ira moved fast, her body reacting faster than thought. She pushed a hidden panel on the wall. Part of the floor slid open. Storage room. Get in. We can't hide, Rayan said. Not hiding, upgrading. She jumped down the hole first. Rayan followed. Inside was something he didn't expect. Weapons, armor, alien tech. All old, dusty but real. What is this? He asked. Escape protocol, she said. Hidden backup for when everything fails. Thought you had no weapons, Rayan said. I lied. Ira grabbed a black band and wrapped it around her wrist. Lights lit up. It melted into her skin. Her muscles glowed faintly. She handed Rayan a metal glove with a red crystal in the center. This will only work once. Make it count. Count on it. Suddenly, boom, the top of the ship exploded. The tunnel filled with smoke and sparks. Drones flew in. Scanning target found. Initiate termination. Ira jumped. Her body moved like lightning. A kick sent the first drone crashing into the wall. Rayan ran beside her. One drone charged toward him. He raised the glove. It lit up bright red. He punched the drone, melted on contact. Okay, that's new, but there were more. Ira ducked under a beam. Her hair caught fire for a second. She didn't stop. Rayan rolled over a box and threw a piece of sharp metal into a drone's core. It exploded midair. Still, more were coming. They reached the exit. Blocked. Ira touched the wall. It's locked from outside. We're trapped. Any other way out? She hesitated, then looked up. Only one, but it's not meant for people. We're not people, Rayan said. We're problems. Access tube. Z emergency disposal route. It was a thin vertical shaft. No stairs, no rails, just a narrow path leading to the surface. Ira activated her arm again. Magnet locks clicked into her hands and feet. She looked at Rayan. You'll have to trust me. Already do. She grabbed him with one arm, held tight, and jumped. The ride up was rough. Metal scraped skin. Sparks rained down. Heat burned around them, but they kept going. Below, the drones tried to follow. Too late. A final explosion shook the tunnel. Then, silence. They burst through the surface. The sun hit their eyes. They were in a wasteland. Empty. Dry, dead land for miles. But free. For now, Ira dropped to her knees, exhausted. Rayan helped her up. You okay? I'm not sure what I am anymore. She looked at her hands. They were shaking. Not from damage. From fear. They didn't just try to stop us, she said. They tried to erase us, which means we're getting close to something important. She looked at him. There's more, Rayan. Files in my head. Places I need to unlock. There's a name I keep hearing. Whose name? She whispered it. Karan. What's Karan? Her eyes narrowed. Not what. Who? The one who made me. She dreamed for the first time, but it wasn't hers. In the dream, a man with silver eyes stood over a glowing table. His hands were covered in black fluid. Wires ran into something alive. A voice said, "She will feel pain." Good, the man replied. Pain is where humanity begins. Ira woke up screaming. Rayan grabbed her shoulders. Ira, it's okay, you're safe. She looked at him, eyes full of fear. I saw him. I saw the one who made me Karan. She nodded. He wasn't making a weapon. He was trying to give birth to a soul. 2 hours later, they sat inside the burned remains of an old watchtower in the wasteland. Wind whispered through broken metal beams. The sky above was gray and cracked, like a memory ready to fall apart. Rayan cleaned a burn on his arm. Ira sat across from him. Quiet. Quiet. Tell me what you saw, Rayan said. Ira's voice was soft. He created me in secret, away from the council. He wanted something they hated. What? Emotion, mercy, fear, things they erased from their species. Rayan looked confused. Why would a scientist want to build someone like that? Ira looked at him, not like a machine, like a person, because he believed humanity wasn't dead, just lost. He thought one day, someone like you would show up, me, not just you. A choice, someone who chooses not to follow power, someone who sees life, even in something like me. Rayan stared at the fire. A soft wind blew ash across the floor. He remembered something from his childhood. A word scratched on a broken wall in the camp's feel and fight. He never knew what it meant. Now he did. Flashback. Ira's memory upload 3 years ago. A dark lab. A glass tank filled with light. Karan stood beside it, talking to a camera. If you're watching this, she found you. Good. He leaned closer. Her core is unstable, but it will only unlock if someone chooses to protect her, not control her. He smiled. If she trusts you, she'll start to change. If she changes, so will everything else. Back to present. Rayan sat up. Ira, you said your core changed when I said no. Yes. What happens if we keep going? What if you keep feeling more? She hesitated, then whispered, then I stop being what they built and start becoming something else, something better. She looked unsure, something real. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed outside, a high-pitched whistle. They ran to the window. A beacon light blinked in the distance. A ship was landing, not alien, not council. Something older, human-made. Rayan's eyes widened. That's a rescue signal. From who? Ira asked. From the resistance. She looked confused. There's still a resistance. There was. Maybe there still is. Rayan grabbed his gear. His face was hard now. Not afraid. Focused. If someone's out there using that code, they know who I am. Ira followed him, her voice steady. And they might know more about me. Elsewhere, in a hidden star station, a hooded figure watched an old screen flicker to life. Ira's image appeared. Voice said, Subject 001A is active. Core has bonded. Emotional code unlocked. The figure removed his hood. KHORN. Older. Scarred. Alive. She's ready. Asterisk. It started with a heartbeat. Not hers. Not Rayon's, but hundreds deep underground. Ira stood still, her hand against the cold wall of the old resistance outpost. Her fingers glowed faintly. She could feel them, heartbeats slow, tired, weak but human. They're here, she whispered. Rayan stepped closer, watching her carefully. You sure? Yes, sleeping, hidden, forgotten. He took a deep breath. Then, it's time we wake them up. The forgotten shelter, 200 meters below, dust covered everything. Old machines sat dead. Broken beds lined the walls. Rusted weapons leaned against walls. And inside cryopods, human faces, men, women, children. Silent time had stopped for them. Ira moved between the pods like a ghost. Her hand hovered over the controls. They were part of the last resistance wave, she said. Hidden before the Great Purge. Rayon looked at the names scratched onto the walls, hundreds of them. His voice cracked. My father's name is here. Ira turned to him. This place is your past. No, he said. It's our future. Memory chip recovered. Rayan's father's journal. If you're reading this, then we failed. But maybe you haven't. The council fears only one thing. A soul that chooses, if my son is alive, forgive the world for what it did to you, then change it. Rayan wiped his eyes. They wanted us to disappear quietly, slowly, like we never mattered. He turned to Ira. They were wrong. Above-ground council war drones activated from space. New signals were detected. Human life signs, old rebel codes, unauthorized movement. The response: send the butcher ships, burn it all. Back underground. Ira linked her mind to the cryo-core. Her voice reached into the frozen minds. Wake up, you are not alone. The world you feared still breathes through him. She looked at Rayan, then smiled. Through us. The first pod opened. An old woman gasped for air. Her eyes opened, weak but burning with recognition. Hugh and Rayan took her hand. Yes, we're back. One by one, the others began to stir. Tears, confusion, but also something else. Hope. Later that night, around a fire, the survivors sat in a circle. Quiet. Ira stood beside Rayan, watching them carefully. They looked broken. She whispered. They're not. Rayan replied. They're waiting for something worth standing for. He looked at her. You gave them that. She shook her head. You made the choice. I just followed it. A teenage boy from the group stood up. His voice was rough. What now? Rayan stared into the fire, then stood. We rebuild. We fight, not just for survival. He looked up, at the stars, but to remind them who we are. Ira stepped forward. Her voice clear. They called us weak. They called us food. But now they will remember. She looked at each face. We are human and we feel. That is our power. The sky turned red before the war began. Not from the sun, from the ships. Thousands of them, council destroyers, floating like shadows, blocking the sky, ready to burn what little was left of the world below. The forgotten humans stood on the edge of the wasteland, tired, underarmed, outnumbered, but not afraid, because this time they had something no weapon could match. They had each other. Rayon stood at the front, dust in his hair, scars on his face, fire in his heart. Ira stood beside him, calm and glowing. She was no longer just a project, no longer a test. She was a voice, a choice, and a spark. They think we'll run, Rayon said, looking at the crowd behind him. They think we'll break. He turned, facing the people who had been frozen, hunted, erased. Let's show them what humans really do when we have nothing left but hope. The ground shook. Council forces had landed. It was time. The battle begins. Waves of drones swarmed the wasteland. Machines with claws and lasers, sharp, cold, fast. But this time humans were ready. Ira moved first. She leaped into the air, her body glowing brighter than ever before. A beam of energy shot from her core, disabling a full drone squad in one move. They evolved me, she shouted, but you made me real. Rayan and the fighters charged forward, no fear, only purpose. They used old tech, broken weapons, fire, and fists, but every time a drone fell, a human stood taller. They weren't winning through strength, they were winning through will. Inside, the enemy ship. High above, a shadow watched from a throne of steel. Khor and yes, he was the creator. But he had lied. He didn't just want to test kindness, he wanted to see if empathy could lead a war. She's ready now, he whispered. But will she choose peace or power? He pressed a button. A new command was sent. Final weapon, the Purger, a biomech giant made from failed subjects like Ira, twisted, broken, hungry. Final clash. The ground cracked as the Purger landed. Ira froze. It looked like her, a mirror from a nightmare. That's what I could have become, she whispered. Rayan stepped forward, preparing to fight. We'll stop it together. No, she said. This one's mine. She walked toward the beast. It roared, pure rage, no mind. Ira didn't attack. She opened her arms. I'm not your enemy. You were made like me, but I was given a chance. Let me give you one too. The Purger screamed, then paused. Its body shook. Something inside was listening, but Karan's override kicked in. It lunged too fast, too strong. Rayan ran, shouted Ira. Then, a blinding flash, silence after the light. Smoke faded. The Purger was gone. So, Was Ira Rayon knelt in the dirt, clutching her glowing wristband, all that remained. The army fell silent. Then, from the council ship above, systems shut down. Something had broken inside the network. She had done it. With her final act, she freed the others. No code, no chains, no more control. Weeks later, the camp had grown. More humans were arriving, every day answering Rayon's call. They were rebuilding. No leaders, no rulers. Only voices. Only voices. Stories of a girl made perfect, who learned to feel, who chose to protect, and who reminded a broken galaxy what it meant to be human. She wasn't just a machine. She wasn't just an idea. She was a spark, and sparks become fires. This isn't the end. This is the first dawn.